Hey, y'all, just wanted to throw it out a quick take on the vice presidential pick from Joe Biden. It was announced a little bit ago that Kamala Harris, senator from California, is going to be Biden's running mate. And personally, I think this is not the best choice he could have made. Obviously, it's his choice, his opinion is the one that matters. But I think this was not the best choice. He and Senator Harris had some pretty harsh words for each other during the campaign. She called him a racist, and so now people are going to be saying, why are you supporting a racist? Why are you going along with him on the ticket? Or are you walking back his being a racist? Which is going to put her word in doubt. It's going to make her less reliable and trustworthy. I understand he wanted to pick a woman and an African American woman. I think that there were other choices that could have been better choices. Traditionally, when you're looking at a vice presidential candidate, you look at a variety of factors. You look at uh, what's going to attract voters. You look at geography. Biden being from Delaware and Harris being from California, both of those are safe Democratic states. That's not going to help them pick up any votes in any swing states or anything like that. As far as the geography, um, and even Senator Harris being an African American woman, when you look at that, she has a history of having been a district attorney general in California, and so she's prosecuted a lot of African Americans for a lot of different things. She's very much a fan of the police, of the war on drugs, things like that, and so um, it's kind of a token towards the Black Lives Matters movement and the push for equality for African Americans here in the United States. But it's really only a token compared to what it could have been with picking another candidate. Um, she's really not been um, the friend to African Americans that a lot of others have could have been, and so that's not going to have the sway in bringing out the African American vote that another woman would have, a black woman. Other candidates that were out there. Personally, if I were advising Vice President Biden, I would have looked at um, Tulsi Gabbard out of Hawaii. She is obviously from a Democratic state, so she wouldn't pick up anything that, or they wouldn't pick up anything that way. Um, but she has some cross appeal. Um, she has some appeal to Republicans and Libertarians because of her experience in the military and her views on um, some other topics. Um, the war on drugs, if I remember right. Um, so she would have a little bit more appeal in that way. Um, Keisha Lance Bottoms, the mayor of Atlanta, she is a mayor, and that would be a big step from mayor to vice president, especially when Biden has said his intent is for his vice presidential candidate or his vice president to be able to step up. Unless he's gone back on it, he said he's only planning on serving one term, then having his vice president take over. So, um, if the mayor of Atlanta had been the vice president, she would have had 4 years to learn the job and be ready, to take over and become the president. And so, I think that that wouldn't be so much of an issue there. Um, she's really handled things, gained a lot of notoriety for how she's handled things. I'll put it that way. with the coronavirus and shootings of African Americans by police in Atlanta. She's been, or was for a while at least, one of the faces kind of the movement. And so I think that would have been a very positive pick as well, if you wanted to pick a woman of color. So also, I kind of have to wonder, I know Biden wants to, he said, kind of build a bridge to the next generation. He wants to set it up for a woman, for an African or a woman of color to be able to take over as president after him. But at the same time, I mean, depending on how you look at it, yes, that could be enabling, or it could be looked at paternalistic. I mean, kind of saying, here, I'm making this easier for you, could be viewed as paternalistic. Additionally, you've got, and I'll admit I'm ignorant on this point, so this may not be as paternalistic, but, there was news over the weekend and yesterday that the Biden team was picking the vice president's team, chief of staff, communications director, that sort of thing. That may be commonplace, but it could be viewed again as paternalistic. I mean, you've got a woman of color coming in and saying, okay, here, I, the white man, I'm going to pick your team for you. Even if that's normal practice, maybe you look at doing something different there and saying, hey, you know what? You pick your own team. I think that would be empowering for the person, respectful. I think in a lot of ways, other than choosing a woman of color to be his running mate, Biden's playing this really safe. His picks, the way he's campaigning generally, it's all been very, very safe. He hasn't really gone out and made any waves. He hasn't, he's been campaigning from his basement, basically, which the election looks very different this year because of the coronavirus. That's absolutely fair and legitimate. But as the challenger to the incumbent, I feel like you've got to make some waves. You've got to do some things that are going to get some press, that are going to change the narrative, and he's not doing that. So far, really the only noteworthy thing that I can think of that he's done has been to pick a woman of color as his running mate. So I don't know if that's the case. Trump is really playing it safe as well. Probably safer than he should be, considering the polling data and how things are looking for him, for his chances of re-election. I think both of them, really need to take some chances and, make some waves and really show that they're going to be the person that's worth electing. They need, obviously we're in a state of flux right now in the United States, with the coronavirus, the economy, Black Lives Matter movement. None of them are really embracing that. I mean, you've got Trump who says, I'm going to be the law and order president, and you've got Biden saying, I'm going to pick a woman of color and she's going to be president after me. But there's not a lot going on other than, it's almost down to just like slogans. Nobody's really doing a whole lot out of the big two. There are other candidates. Obviously don't want to dismiss other candidates. Libertarian Party, Joe Jorgensen is appearing in more polls than usual, and I believe the Green Party candidate is as well. Forgive me, I can't remember who the Green Party candidate is at the moment, but my understanding is both of them are appearing in more polls than normal, so there may be a look there for people. So with Biden and Trump both playing it safe, you're taking a risk there. So I don't know. we'll see. We'll see how this plays and how people report on it. But that's my take for or on Biden's pick of Kamala Harris for his vice presidential nominee. Thanks.